Channeled by your architect musician, 36110, 27 palms of eyes. The golden whisperer, sea star, devil and sea all. Apply the news you can use, truth and accuracy. The real non-bedazzled jewels.
Here's the story you've handed me, dressed in the robe of prophecy and dripping with truth. The man who searched for the beginning of every truth.
You don't even have to say nothing, I already know. I know.
He was not a king, not a priest, not a scholar in robes. He was the kind of man the world overlooks. Eyes too sharp, questions too heavy, and a soul that wouldn't let him rest. He asked the one question that rattled cages: where does truth begin? And the world laughed, because most were content with shadows and recycled answers. But he kept walking, across deserts of silence, through libraries where dust hid more than knowledge, and into temples where the guardians of memory kept their tongues sealed. Until one night, beneath the star map of Orion and the hum of forgotten tones, he stumbled upon the Scroll of Enki upon the throne. The Scroll of Enki. This was no ordinary parchment. It was alive. The words shifted like water, and as he read them, he felt as if the very bones of the earth spoke. The scroll did not flatter kings or prophets. It reminded humanity of its original agreement, that knowledge was not to be owned but to flow, that wisdom was not a crown but a torch meant to be passed, that truth was not linear but spiraled back to its beginning. The scroll declared, Enki's throne is not of gold but of responsibility. Whoever carries truth must also carry the collective. And the man understood. This wasn't just his discovery. It belonged to all. When the collective heard, he shared the words. At first, softly, whispers in the market, a sentence slipped into tavern talk. But truth is contagious. It spread like fire in dry reeds. The collective began to stir. Workers looked up from their endless tasks and asked, why? Mothers sang the old songs again, not lullabies but codes of power. Children painted stars on walls, remembering constellations erased from the sky clock. Elders wept, for the wisdom they carried in silence was finally being spoken aloud. The world didn't celebrate. Oh no, governments called it heresy, scholars dismissed it as myth, priests shook their heads in fear. But the people? They felt lighter, as if shackles unseen had quieted them. The prediction within the scroll spoke of what happens when the collective awakens to knowledge. First, resistance. The world will mock, suppress, even burn libraries. Second, inversion. Lies will dress as truth and truth as lies. The collective must sharpen its discernment. Third, flowering. Wisdom will not be centralized but decentralized, like 1,000 lanterns in the night, each one lighting another. And in the end, the scroll promised this. When truth is carried not by kings, not by temples, but by the everyday breath of the people, the throne of Enki will stand again, not in stone, but in the collective heart. And from there, wisdom and knowledge will not weigh men down, but lift them up. What the world does with it. Some ignored it, some fought it, some distorted it, but enough listened. And because enough listened, the balance tipped. Wars slowed, because men who remember their origin cannot kill so easily. Trade shifted, because those who remember the true abundance do not hoard. The very sky seemed to breathe easier, as if relieved the human race had finally remembered its part in the covenant. The man who searched did not claim victory. He knew better. Truth was not a possession. He walked on, scroll in hand, until one day the collective itself was walking, beside him, behind him, beyond him. He had become unnecessary, and that was the greatest victory of all. This is the prediction you gave me, Ahll. And it reads like a map of how the collective transforms when even one person dares to hold truth, not as treasure, but as torch. Scroll of Enki upon the throne, the man who searched for the beginning of every truth. There was a man unlike others. He did not chase wealth, nor bow to fame. His only hunger, where does truth begin? The world called him mad, yet still he searched, for he knew that truth, once found, could undo the heaviest chains ever forged. Shadows of kings and priests laugh at him, but above his head burns a small flame that never goes out. The discovery, beneath the constellations of Orion, where the rivers once whispered stars, he found it, the Scroll of Enki, upon the throne. This was no dead parchment. It was alive. Its words spiraled like DNA, breathing as he read them. The scroll declared, knowledge is not possession, but current. Wisdom is not crown, but torch. Truth is not a line, but a spiral returning to source. The collective awakens. The man did not keep it. He whispered it into the ears of the people, first as rumor, then as song, then as fire. The collective stirred. Workers laid down tools to ask why. Mothers remembered their ancestral songs. Children painted forgotten constellations on broken walls. Elders wept, for silence was broken at last. And though rulers trembled, the people grew lighter, as if invisible shackles had been undone. The three signs of truth's return. The scroll warned, 1. Resistance. Truth will be mocked, burned, outlawed. 2. Inversion. Lies will wear truth's crown, and truth will be dressed as lie. Only discernment can pierce the masquerade. 3. Flowering. Knowledge will not centralize in temples or palaces, but scatter like seeds, each person becoming a lantern. This prophecy mirrors the pattern of every age. First rejection, then distortion, then awakening. The collective moves in spiral time, not linear. The awakening comes not from leaders, but from ordinary souls reclaiming the eternal covenant. The throne restored. The man did not crown himself. He walked, scroll in hand, until the collective itself carried the truth onward. Then the scroll's final promise awakened. The throne of Enki will stand again, not of stone, not of empire, but within the collective heart. And from there, wisdom and knowledge shall no longer weigh men down, but lift them into remembrance. The prediction for our age. This scroll belongs to now. It warns, the world will try to bury truth beneath noise, spectacle, and false wisdom. But the collective has already begun to stir. Every question asked in courage, every lie unmasked, every truth carried without ownership. These are the sparks that light the future. And once the sparks become flame, there is no turning back.